Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. It's a documentary about the forest fire. What is this? The forest fire is when the forest or some large area of trees is completely on fire. How does it happen? When people don't put out the campfire properly, it can cause fire to spill out to trees. Where does it happen? Forest fire can occur in several areas, one of which in the forest or in a zone of trees. Why does it happen? The forest fire occurs for several reasons. One is because the fire doesn't go out completely like cigarettes, or some material that can generate extreme heat. Now, I will tell you a few rules that can be followed for when something similar happens. If you smoke, put out your cigarette after you finish. If you set fire to campfire, put out your campfire after you finish. If you bring something that can ignite fire, put out after you're finished. During. Number 1. If you see that the forest ignites, call the police. Number 2. If you are sundered of the fire, just take the camp and throw yourself to the flame. Number 3. If you can escape, you try to escape for the side that have less fire. After. Number 1. If there is not fire anymore, come back to the meeting point. Number 2. If there is not fire anymore, remove everything that can generate new fire. Number 3. If there are survivors, find medical care for the survivors. What will happen if this happens? If somebody sets fire to campfire and doesn't put out the fire, the forest burns. If the forest burns, the air be contaminated. If the air be contaminated, the people be preoccupied. If the people be preoccupied, they call to the firemen. If they call the firemen come to the forest. If the firemen come to the forest, the people run away to the forest. If the people run away from the forest, the firemen arrive to the forest. If the firemen come to the forest, they put out the fires.
These are some superstitions of a forest fire and why the people believe in these superstitions. The first superstition says that if you go to the forest on Friday 13, the forest will burn. This superstition is due to the curse of Friday 13. The second superstition says that if you stream 5 times fire, the forest will burn. The people believe that when you stream fire in the forest, you call bad luck. The third superstition says that if you hear children scream, the forest will burn. The people say that a group of children playing provoked a fire in the forest and died. The fourth superstition says this: if you see a woman in white dress, the forest will burn. Many years ago, a woman in dress of white ran to the forest, died in a fire caused by a campfire after finding out that her boyfriend died. The fifth and last superstition says this: if you break a branch, the forest will burn. Legend says when you broke a branch in the forest, you make Mother Nature angry and causing a forest fire.
If I were in a forest fire, I would run to exit the forest fire. If I were in a forest fire, I would look in my camp house. If I were in a forest fire, I would call the firemen. If I were in a forest fire, I could ignite a cigarette. If I were in a forest fire, I could feel very hot. If I were in a forest fire, I could ignite my campfire. If I were in a forest fire, I could help the firemen to put out the fire. If I were in a forest fire, I would throw myself and drown me. If I were in a forest fire, I would throw water the fire. If I were in a forest fire, I could heat up my food.